crafty friends, welcome. So today is Wednesday and I have another guest design project to share with you from Kinda Cute by Patricia. Today I am using this super cute image called Papa Bear, but as you all know me, I had to change it just a bit, as you can see from the preview. So what I'm doing here, I am just going to color it using some Spectrum Noir alcohol markers, and you guys know these are the only ones that I have, so that's what I am using. But I am trying to make my little bear to be, I was thinking to make it a black bear, but I decided to go with black brown. So I'm using like some different tones of dark brown colors, and I did decide to kind of leave a little bit of light color for her belly and her snout. So I did color those ahead of time so that way I don't forget and I can leave that space blank, because I like to go from light to dark when I am coloring my images. I do apologize a little bit because in some instances here my camera was kind of going out of focus. I guess it was trying to decide what to focus on since it was a little bit busy. But like I said, I am just leaving the coloring here because that's all I'm doing is adding the different shades, and I'm using different three different colors, but you can see here the colors that I used, and as I'm using them I left the caps on so that way you guys can check them out in case you're interested if you have this same type of markers and you wanted to do the same combination that I did. And so I am just coloring this one. Now the idea with this one, I thought, it is a really cute, it's a Papa Bear holding his little bear, but I thought that I would kind of fancy it up a little bit and make it into a mom. So that's what I did. But I am super excited to share this project with you. And since, all I'm doing here is the coloring, there's not too much to explain. I'm going to sit here and chit chat with you. So hope you guys don't mind. Like I said, I am super excited that I am sharing another project. Remember that I will be sharing Kinda Cute by Patricia projects using her images every Wednesday this month. So be sure to check it out. Head over to my blog so you can check details, and also make sure that you guys visit her Facebook group if you have not joined it. You would absolutely love it, because she also has challenges going on there. So you can use her images and then just post whatever project that you make sure that you tag it and post it onto the group, and then at the end of the month she's going to choose a winner, and when you win you are going to win some free stamps. So that's super awesome. But remember, if you don't have any stamps by Kinda Cute by Patricia, you can go onto her website, and please excuse my hair there. You can go onto her website and you'll be able to get some of the free images that she has there. So there is a few that you can go ahead and get started with, so that way you can create your images, and that's your opportunity to check them out, see how you like them, and also join the challenge so you have the opportunity to win other stamps so you can choose them. Now, another cool thing about digital stamps is that they're pretty inexpensive. They are a little bit easier to store, because you can store them on your computer or on a flash drive, and then you can come back and print them as you need them or as you want. The only downside to that, in my case, is that sometimes I forget I have those images because I don't have them in front of me. So what I started doing is I print a whole bunch of images and have them ready in a folder, so that way when I want to make a project I can just kind of flip through it and do it that way. So I think that's just kind of like a little tip. I don't know if you guys do digital images. How do you do it? How do you kind of remember what images you have? I'd like to know. Just go ahead and leave me a comment below, and I'd be interested in seeing that. Now, another little trick that I'm going to show you, or tip that I'm going to share here, is what I'm doing. I am using a blender marker. So in some areas as I was coloring, my coloring kind of bled a little bit to the outside. And because at this point I wasn't sure if I was going to leave an outer layer or border around the image, I went ahead and kind of used my marker to push that pigment or color back into the image. I don't know if that's what the exact terminology is, but that's what I did. It just kind of helps you get rid of it a little bit. It only works if it's a light color, so just kind of be mindful. If you have like the big dark bear, you can't really come back and erase it. So what I'm doing here is I am creating a little dress using this super cute trim that I got from my friend Dolly. Thank you, Dolly, for sending me this. I really don't have a lot of lace trim or trim like this, but I super like it, and I thought that it would be really cute to make a little skirt for her. So yes, I did color my image because I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to cover it or whatnot, but this is what I decided to do. Now I'm using my little X-Acto knife to cut around the little arm because I want the dress or the arm to be over the skirt. So I'm just trying to cut that out. And since I started doing it, I decided to go ahead and finish fussy cutting the whole image. This is when I decided that I didn't want to leave a border around it. So I'm just cutting as close to the line as I can. Again, this sometimes is not perfect, but just remember when you're fussy cutting, just move your paper, not your scissors, so that way you can turn it and do that. And I apologize that I was a little bit out of frame here, but that's all I'm doing, just kind of trimming the little image. And just trying to go in the little corners so I can make sure that I don't mess it up. And but yeah, like I said, I was just trying to create that little dress with the trim. I am using a needle because I wanted to have a little bit of pleated effect. So I used the needle with thread and just kind of bring it in a little bit so that way it can match her little waist. So once I'm there, I'm just going to try it before I finish closing it to see where I want it. And then I did decide that it's not going to be just a skirt. So I decided to use that little piece of scrap that I had because I cut it in half to be the top of her dress. So I am just kind of, eyeballing it. I was trying to do it with my pen, just drawing around it, but I decided to go back and just kind of guess it. Just cutting a little bit of a color there because we don't want her to choke. And then there I am using my scissors on this area. Now at the beginning I wasn't sure that this is what I was going to do. That's why I used my X-Acto knife instead. But if I had planned it ahead, I would have just used my scissors to cut around the little arm. But here I am putting the little shirt underneath, or the top of the dress, under her arm because I think that it gives it a really cool effect. So it's a sleeveless arm and it doesn't cover it. So there you go, magic, it's all done. So I fussy cut all, even in the middle area of where between the mom's arm and the face. I cut that out, but that one I did do with my X-Acto knife. And I am just adding a little bit of tumble glue. This is what I had handy with me, so that's what I am using, but you can definitely use something else, maybe glossy accents or even the Ranger multi-medium adhesive. That would work really good. Now, if you wanted to also just make this Papa Bear, you could create a little shirt just like I did to the baby bear. Or if you wanted to add texture, do the same thing and then just leave the little shirt instead of adding a little skirt. But again, this is a mama bear, so I am adding that. And this kind of reminded me a lot of me and my son. We dote on him so much, not just me. Everybody does. So he's a little spoiled boy, but what can you do? So here I am just kind of folding a little bit because I didn't want the trim to be just sticking out. So I am using my glue to kind of fold it in a little bit and just fussing with it to just kind of decide on the placement of the little dress and see how I want it to look. But I think it's already looking so adorable. Now I grabbed these little set of bling stickers that someone gifted me. I think this was during my my challenge, so thank you very much. I apologize that I did not look up who it was so I could give you a shout out, but thank you so much for this gift. And what I did is I cut or trimmed out those the little diamond ones because this is kind of like a border that it goes all together, but I didn't have anything that was small enough to put as her little necklace. So that's why I decided to use this, and I just cut it out and just kind of placed it around, make it look like she has a little diamond necklace because why not? Little bear can be fancy. And here I am using a Jelly Roll pen just to kind of bring in a little bit of the detail on the little eyes. Just going back and adding a little bit of it. And I love the little eyes that Patricia creates. They're just kind of like little tiny ovals. Super cute. But there it is, my image is ready, and now what I'm going to be doing is creating a background for it. And I haven't done watercolor in a while, so I decided to do a watercolor background. But for this I am using my watercolor pencils, and I am using these color pencils that I have by Derwent. Actually this brown one was by a different brand. I apologize, I don't remember which one it is, but it's just another one that I had in my stash from a different set, I guess. But I don't have many of those. But for the majority, I use my Derwent watercolor pencils, and I am just kind of sketching or drawing the image. What I was thinking of doing here is make it look like they live in the woods, and one of those big, big trees is their little house. So I created a little door there. The very, very best thing that I like when you're using watercolor pencils is when you grab your brush, your wet brush, and you bring it to the color and you just start spreading out. It's just like magic. I don't know. It's just something super, super satisfying that I think it is. So here I am just adding a little bit more of details. I did decide to add a little bit of black. And again, I'm not like, you know, expert at anything really, but I do what I think looks good. And in my case, I just kind of, sketch it, decide what's going to look good, and that's what I'm going with. So I do a little bit of fuzzing because, I wasn't too happy with the color, but always keep a paper towel handy so that way you can dab out excess of water, or if you added extra pigment or extra color, you can just dab it out. So there I'm just waiting because I was trying to decide what I was going to do. So I apologize for the shakiness there. But because I am very impatient, I decided to pull out my heat gun so I can heat dry it and so I can work faster. Yeah, I know. That's just me. Sometimes I get impatient and I can't wait for things to work their normal course. But that's life sometimes. So I am adding again a little bit of more details and add more definition to that little door and the little crevices of the wood. So here I am just adding a little bit of color, and you'll see here I'm just doing a lot of fussing, playing with it, just kind of trying to see what's going to look good, and like I said, what is pleasing to the eye. And I know I keep saying I'm not an expert because I'm not, but I will say that I do have had, some practice, and I like, all the accomplishments and all the progress that I've made, which is why I want to try doing other mediums because, sometimes I tend to stick with just one and I keep just doing that, but I gotta branch myself out and push myself to try this more. So I hope that you guys are okay with that. I'm also thinking of maybe doing some, journaling because I haven't done any like journaling with coloring. So I think I'm gonna try to start doing that, and that way I can use the different mediums to apply them onto it in practice. So I think that would be super fun. What I'm doing here is just adding little blobs of different color. Now fall is here, so I am super excited about it. It is my second favorite season. So I wanted to create it or make it look like it's already fall in the forest as well. So I just added some different brown, yellows, and oranges here to, simulate a little bit of trees. Again, I'm using my heat dryer there. And I added a little bit of blue on the top because I wanted just to see a little bit of sky, and making it look like the trees were far away, so you can't really see a lot of definition. I am just blending that blue in there to try to make it look like that you can see a little bit of the sky. So you'll see me fuzzing here. I added a little bit more green on the bottom so that way, as you're closer, the grass is there. And then I decided to add a little bit more defined trees to that background. So those would be the ones that are closer to the image. So I am just adding some couple different shades of green to the color, and then also added some little branches with my brown. So I am coming back with my brush and just blending it out. And I think that this gives it a little bit more definition and grounds the image or the background a little bit more. So that's what I was doing. And like I said, I apologize. I kept taking it out of frame. I forget to keep it sometimes, more centered, but I always keep trying to bring it closer and closer to me. It's funny. Sometimes I'm trying to climb up on the table, I guess. But here we are just finishing those up. So I hope that you guys are excited. Also remember that I will be sharing this on Instagram. Sometimes I do share the projects on Instagram and my blog before I share the videos here. But sometimes I do include the videos on my blog post, so I do try to make sure that I have those ready to go. So yes. Another thing I wanted to apologize. I know you can probably hear it in my voice. With the season changing and everything, I think I'm dealing with allergies. Pretty much, I think everybody in our house is, or at least a couple of the girls and me are experiencing a little bit of these like sore throat, your voice is kind of weird, and itchy eyes, watery, it's the season. It always gets us at some point. So I hope that you guys are not having that bad of a trouble as we are. But teas and stuff helps for sure. So yes, I apologize for my voice there, but I still wanted to share with you, and I love creating videos. You guys know that. So any opportunity that I get, I definitely do use it because I want to share with you the projects that I create and the process of how I do them. Though, like I mentioned, sometimes it's a little bit difficult because and for those of you that do videos, you know this and you understand it, that it takes a lot of time to do your videos, to sit down and make sure the house is quiet. That's why sometimes, or a lot of times, I have to come and do this voiceover because it's really hard to find that that balance. So it is very time consuming, but don't get me wrong, it is a lot of fun and I love doing it when I can. So I will definitely share the videos or the projects as much as I can. But like I said, if you're not friends with me on Instagram or my blog or even my Facebook page, I would encourage you to do it because sometimes that's how I will be sharing most of my projects. And that way, if you guys don't want to miss out, you can check them out. And I would love, love, love to have you there. I'm trying to kind of bring a little bit more traffic to my blog because I haven't used it much. So I'm thinking of a couple of ideas. I do have some giveaways coming up, so please stay tuned for that. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching, taking your time, just giving me your time to sit down and watch my videos or maybe listen. I know sometimes I do that, I put on a video as I'm doing something else so that way I can watch, and then sometimes I forget to go back and comment, so it'll take me a day or so, and then I remember, oh, I already watched that video, so I go back and leave comments. I absolutely love doing that, but sometimes even if I don't leave a comment, I promise you I do watch your videos, but I'm getting around to doing the comments as I go. And like I said, remember to check out Patricia and Kinda Cute by Patricia. I will leave her link to her store down below so you guys can check it out. And like I said, if you don't have any of her images, get those free images, get your project started, and enter the challenges because they're a lot of fun. Oh, please excuse my head there. So here I am just trying to add the little doorknob and just try to see the placement of where I'm going to be putting this mama bear. Now I didn't realize that my camera had stopped recording here, but all I did is I trimmed down my paper and I mounted it onto a piece of it's actually a different card that I use that has kind of like a woodsy background, and that's where I mounted it onto. And then I am mounting the image onto some foam tape, pressing it down, and I think it looks so cute because they are coming back from, let's say they're coming back from the park or something. I don't know. Well, they're fancy, so probably not the park. So here I am using my VersaFine ink to stamp it, and I wanted to do some heat embossing. The reason you see me kind of looking there to see where I'm stamping is because I had stamped it with Versamark ink, the clear ink. I wanted it to have a little bit of a like a background to it because I decided to heat emboss it directly onto the card. So I wanted to add a little bit of dimension, so that's why I was trying to figure out that I lined it off just a little bit offset. And then I added this extra sentiment that says you brighten my day, and just a little bit here to hold the little dress onto the card, and that's pretty much all of my card. Here I am using that adhesive eraser because I used wet glue to glue it and just kind of trying to take that off. But that's pretty much it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to check out Patricia, check out my blog, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a wonderful day.